Hello, my beautiful people. What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. Happy Election Day. If you are in the Memphis and Shelby County area, first and foremost, let's get out and vote. If you've already done your civic duty, thank you, thank you, thank you. But as y'all can see, this is Testimony Tuesday. Testimony Tuesday. So today I'm going to be sharing with y'all. The title of the video is The Choices We Make. The Choices We Make. And I just want to share my testimony on how some of the decisions, like crucial decisions that I've made um, in my life, or just, decisions in general, um, and acknowledging how those decisions can uh, affect our overall lives, y'all. So, the decisions we make, every decision we make is connected to the world that we live in. Every decision that we make or lack thereof is connected to the world we live in, right? So, simple things like your daily decisions that you make. If you're someone, and I like giving this example, if you're someone who, when you pour your bowl of cereal, you pour the cereal first and then the milk. There's other people who pour the milk first and then the cereal, right? Neither choice is necessarily right or wrong, just one works best or better for, you know, right? So, Um, I remember, when I remember like there was something I would forget. When I was 11 years old, um, I was molested by my father. Okay. Um, and I remember after it happened to me, right? After me being molested by my father, I remember thinking that it was my fault, right? Because my daddy told me, he told me if you say anything that he said if you say anything then you would get in trouble. If you say anything then I don't remember what he specifically said, but he told me that if I said anything about what he did to me, then I would get in trouble. Right. And so I beat myself up for weeks in my head, like, why would I do that? Like, why would I allow him to do that to me? Why didn't I tell him to stop? Why didn't I? Right? Those are decisions, choices, right? Out of fear, out of confusion, whatever it was, that was a choice that I made in that moment, right? And so I told myself that if it ever happened to me again, I would never allow, or even if I ever tried it again, I would never allow it to happen again. I would never, right? And so a couple of weeks later, he tried it again. And I immediately stopped him. I immediately told him no, and I pushed him off, with my 11-year-old strength, right? But I immediately pushed him off and told him no, like, this is not okay. This is not cool. And it was almost like he tried to make it seem as though he was like doing me a favor almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was almost like he was trying to act like he was doing me a favor by molesting me, right? Um, and so in that decision that I made, right, it altered his mindset. It altered him because I let him know I'm not so young that I don't understand that what's happening is wrong. That's not where my mindset is. And so it was a big shift for him, right? And so um, a few years later, I was now 17 years old. um, I reported, or I told a trusted person in my life, right, what happened. And this person, of course, reported it to the proper authorities. I was pissed originally, not because they did the right thing, but because it all caught me off guard, right? People came to the school. Um, People came to the school and was asking me all these different questions, and I remember being so mad. Not because they did the right thing, because they did what they were supposed to do as the adult that I told. But I was so pissed, y'all. I was so pissed because it meant that something I had hidden for over 6 years was out now. And to me, even though the only people that knew at this point was the person that I trusted, my siblings, and which I don't even think my siblings fully knew, but um, they suspected. But so my siblings suspected, the person that I entrusted, they knew, and then um, the the authorities, right? So the police and child protective services. But in my world, everybody knew. You know how when something comes out, the truth is revealed, and you just feel like all eyes are on you. That's what I felt like, and so I was pissed, y'all. But I made a decision to trust that person. I made a decision to tell that person, and that person also made a decision to do what they believed to be right. Right? So, but in me making that decision, right, to do that, um, everything pretty much came out. Everything hit the fan. Shit hit the fan. And so everything hit the fan. And so um, it got to a point to where I was supposed to go to somewhere to go and report my dad, right? And so I kid you not, my dad comes up to the school and pulls me to the side in the middle of basketball practice and was like, "Hey, somebody out here lying on my name." This is how lunatic, and it's not funny, y'all, but this is how lunatic my father is. He came and looked me in my face, the girl that he molested at 11 years old and attempted to molest the second time. He looked me in my fucking face and said, "Somebody's lying on my name, saying that I sexually assaulted you, saying that I molested you when you were younger." This man made a decision to look me in my face, y'all, and act like he didn't know what was going on, act like he was innocent, like dead ass. Dead ass, y'all. I can't make this up. The decisions we make has an effect on the world we live in, right? So, um, 17 years old, I report this to this person. They go report it to Child Protective Services, right? And then um, they go and report it. And then now I'm sitting in front of these people and I'm lying, y'all, because my daddy got in my fucking head. My daddy got in my head. My daddy was preaching to his wife and to my siblings. Like, people are out here lying on my name. He done created a whole scenario in his head about people lying on him, right? The decisions we make, y'all. And so, and I'm gonna keep saying that, y'all, the choices we make, the choices we make. So, um, I lied, right? So let me clarify that. I lied when I went to go tell the people. So I originally told the truth when they came to the school. And then when I had to go report it, I lied. Out of fear, out of lack of certainty and clarity. Like, for so many reasons I lied, but fear being the number one thing, right? Fear and confusion. So, and I didn't even mean to stay on this, y'all. I didn't even mean to stay on this, but so I lie, and then the case goes away because, of course, if they can't prove anything, you know. So I lied. Less than 2 years later, I kid you not, I'm now a sophomore in college. Just started my sophomore year in college. He struck again. This nigga struck again, y'all, because I made the decision. Because I made the choice, because I decided to lie 2 years prior. This man was still walking the face of this earth. This man was still living and breathing. This man still was walking free. This man still was living a life like he had done nothing wrong. And yet, in less than 2 years later, 2 years later, this man had struck again. This man struck because right? And so it was like, in that moment, it's not my fault that this man is a molester and a rapist, right? It's not my fault. Absolutely not. But the choice that I made to allow that man to roam freely then had an impact on the fact that it happened to another young lady less than, 2 years later, or right at 2 years later, because I chose to keep quiet, because I chose not to speak up, because I chose not to say anything, because I chose to allow fear to be the thing that was going to run my life, because I chose to allow fear to be the thing that was going to dictate how I moved, because I chose to allow fear to be the thing that was going to run my life, because in that moment, I gave fear the power. When I decided to lie, I gave fear the power. I gave fear the control. I gave fear my life. And because of that, another young woman was raped, not molested, raped by the same man who molested me. Listen to me, y'all. The choices that we make has an effect. It has an impact on the world we live in. It has an impact on the world we live in, y'all. Because I decided this same man, y'all, 11-11 on my phone. This same man, y'all. This same man, y'all. I'm literally at the polls right now trying to get out this video to y'all. But because I decided to lie, because I decided to give fear the power, I gave fear the control. And since then, I was allowing fear to run my fucking life. Fear was in control. Fear was in control, y'all. Fear was running my life. Fear was ruling my life. Fear was in control of me. Fear was the thing that I was allowing to dictate and determine who I was and who I was going to be. And I'm 27, y'all. And I'm just getting to a point where I'm like, I'm about to face this fear. I'm about to face my fears, right? While I'm fully acknowledging and being able to close out this cycle, the choices that we make, y'all, the choices that we make. Tell y'all a different scenario. So my dad got custody of, his children when we were younger. And my mom would come to visit us. My mom would have to take two, if not three different buses. Two, if not three different buses just to come and see us. Now, granted, she stayed maybe 22 or some minutes away, right, in this from where we stayed. But depending on if we were on punishment or if we had done something wrong, this same dad, y'all, this same daddy would make a decision to not allow us to see our mother because we were on punishment. Who in the hell puts a person on punishment from being able to see their parent? Is that psychotic or lunatic? Because I don't know, it got to be a little bit of both. Who puts a kid on punishment from being able to see that? Listen to me, y'all. The decisions that we make. I see it all the time nowadays where mom is that mad at dad. So when dad tries to come by and see the kids, mom is so pissed that she don't allow the kids to be seen by their father. Them kids ain't got shit to do with the relationship that y'all got going. That's still their father. They're still their mother. Because it happens on both sides. I won't put it on one or the other, y'all. But the decisions that we make has an impact. It has an impact on the world that we live in, y'all. And I'm sharing my story because the same daddy, right, that made the decision to molest me was the same daddy that made the decision to keep me away from my mother, was the same daddy that made the decision to keep me away from being able to talk to my mama on the phone when she would call. That same daddy, right, was the same one that said he loved me and would do anything for me. That's the same daddy that said he would die for me. I don't need you to die for me. I want you to live for me. And that might be why I view love the way I view love. I don't want you to die for me. I want you to live. I want you to live. Because that's what you deserve, to live. To live. Listen to me, y'all. The decisions that we make, because I'm not going to be on here long, or much longer. But the decisions that we make has an effect on the world that we live in. My mother, the same one who would take 2 and 3 buses to come see her kids, she would only be able to stay and see us for 2 or 3 hours. Because then, or I say probably 3, maybe 4 hours, depending on how early she came in the day. And then she would have to leave and get back on the bus to go back home. The same dad who said he loved me more than anything couldn't take 45 minutes out of his day to go drop her off. He couldn't take 30 minutes out of his day to go and pick her up so that she didn't have to spend 2 hours out of her day getting to come see her children, only for her to not maybe be able to see us because we were on punishment, y'all. The decisions we make has an effect. It has an impact on the world that we live in. The same dad that said he loved me more than anything in this world. I used to be a daddy's girl, y'all. I was a daddy's girl. But because of the decisions that dad that I loved more than anything else in this world, the decisions that he made affected and altered that relationship. It, the decisions he made also affected and altered the relationship that I got to have, or not have, rather, with my own mother. So I don't know who this is for. If you're someone who has been raped, molested, sexually assaulted or abused, physically assaulted or abused, and you're living in fear right now, I want you to release that fear. Say no to fear, right? Tell fear, say fuck you, fear. Say fuck fear, because just being completely honest, it's time to stop living your life in fear. If you've been assaulted, if you've been abused, if you've been molested, if you've been raped, whatever it is, if you've been abused in any type of way, it's time for you to stand up. Stand up for it. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for the rights of the people who have been assaulted and abused just like you. Stand up for the people who aren't able to stand up for themselves. Stand up for the people who didn't make it, who didn't survive. Stand up for the people who can't speak for themselves because their voice feel like their voice is gone. Stand up for the people. Speak for the people, y'all. The decisions that we make has an effect on the world we live in. Every time we allow a predator to get away with the things that they've done, every fucking time we allow them to continue to get away with the things that they've done, they're going to continue to do it. Because I made a decision at 17 years old and 19 years old, another young lady had to receive the backlash from that poor decision that I made at 17. It's not my fault he's a rapist. It's not my fault he's a child molester, but I could have done something. It's about what I could have done and what I should have done, what I had a chance to do. And right now, you have a chance to. Right now, you have a chance to speak up. You have a chance to speak out. You have a chance. If you're a mother or a father and you're raising children and you're allowing your anger and your spite and your malicious, whatever it is, like the decisions my father made and my stepmom made, on how they chose to raise the children in the household affected the type of relationship I had with myself, the way I had my relationship with my siblings, and it affected the relationship that I had or lack thereof with my mother, y'all. I want y'all to think about that. The decisions that you're making right now is going to affect your 27-year-old daughter. It's going to affect your daughter when she's 27. It can affect your son when he's 27. It can affect your grandchildren when they're 27. It can affect your great grandchildren. The decisions that you're making right now. Right now. Are you standing for love? Are you standing for peace? Are you standing for justice? Are you standing for love? Are you standing for peace? Are you standing for justice? Fuck fear. Fuck fear. Listen to me, y'all. Seriously. It's time out for fear, y'all. The decisions we make, the choices we make affects the world we live in. It's time for us to stop giving in to fear. It's okay for fear to be there, but we're not going to allow it to dictate, determine, or control our decisions, our mindset, our beliefs, or the things that we absolutely have control over. Speak up, speak out, right? Stand against fear. Stand for love. Stand for peace. Stand for something or fall for anything. That is one of the oldest, things in the book. stand for something or fall for anything. But that's the message, y'all. I hope it blessed to touch somebody. I love y'all. Make sure you share this message with whomever you feel needs to see it. Peace and love, my beauties.